What up? We made it. Our final season recap, 32-33. Our next video is probably just going to be a league update, so you got to get an idea of what we're going to be running. But after that is all new content. I cannot wait. Thank you so much for tuning in, for getting this long. I am so happy that we are done all of these recaps. They're great. They set the stage for us, but I know that if you've read along, you know all these stories. If you're new, these are a lot of content being thrown at you, so we are here. Let's get to it. Draft, look, I'm not going to spend too much time on the draft because it's so early. These players are now entering their second year. Elijah Foster end up being the first overall pick to the Clippers. They get that pick via the Lakers. That's the first pick from the signing trade from D'Angelo Ion from a summer ago. Seattle ends up at number 2. They get Alshon Webb. He ends up being actually a really big pick up there. Look, that's your top 10. I can't say much more than that because we just don't know what's going to come up of these players after that. The offseason, though, we can tell you plenty of that. A huge exodus. The Los Angeles Lakers poach Kareem Robinson from Boston. If you want to put on a tinfoil cap, let me do that for you. We'll put it on. They didn't take Javon Stokes, number 1 overall, because they knew Kareem Robinson was coming to the Lakers the following season. Now, they got Robinson, they got Mercer, they got Ion. They're young. They are talented. This is a really exciting time now for the Los Angeles Lakers. Also, the end of a reign in Dallas. Luka Doncic leaves in a huge signing trade. Terrence Clarke goes from Memphis. Remember him? He just got there a year ago. He now goes to Toronto in a signing trade from Memphis. Luka Doncic, who says, I can't beat the Golden State Warriors with the Mavericks anymore, so I'm leaving. He goes to the Eastern Conference residing Memphis Grizzlies to pair with Ja Morant. And then Carlo Urquhart, in his second year entering it, he goes, former lottery pick, goes from Toronto to Dallas. Meanwhile, Ibrahim Mobley, remember when the Thunder weren't going to give him big money? We talked about, hey, tore his Achilles. The Thunder don't want to pay him. Well, he goes to Las Vegas, and then he comes back onto the free agent market in Oklahoma City, says, you know what? We will pay you. You proved us right. Here's a $30 million 3-year deal, $30 million per year. He goes back to Oklahoma City, and then LaMelo Ball. It's finally over in Detroit. The trade of Evan Mobley set it up. LaMelo Ball, he's out of there. He joins the Cleveland Cavaliers as they try to bring themselves back to contention after that embarrassing 60-win first-round exit to the 8th seeded without 2/3 of their stars, Brooklyn Nets. To the regular season we go, where plenty of activity at the trade deadline. Julius Walker heads from Vegas to Utah as they're trying to build around Darius Dixon. Memphis, the teardown was in place in Dallas. They go and get Sasha Kasparov. We're getting the Kasparov-Doncic band back together in Memphis for the Grizzlies. Boston, in need of some guard depth, they get Javon Shumpert, and Indiana acquires Nico Harrington. This really weird one. Nico Harrington is kind of bounced around the league, but he's one of those guards that you just really want to have on your team for whatever reason. And then it's the curse of 82. 1 year after losing Louis Morgan and Bryton Reed in the last game of the regular season, the Brooklyn Nets, in a game in which they needed for seeding purposes, lose Rashawn Matthews to an ankle injury of his own. It's just deja vu, and Brooklyn is going to enter the playoffs without part of their big three. It's also the introduction this season of the play-in tournament. The NBA during the offseason says, hey, we want it. It's finally here. Play-in tournament makes it a little more exciting. The Bucks, who just really struggled with Dwayne Qualls, they win 41 games. They get into that play-in tournament along with the Celtics. Again, we were talking about seeding. The Nets needed that win. I think they lose that game, but they end up as the 4 seed, setting up a matchup with Washington in the Eastern Conference. In the West, it's Golden State and it's Phoenix on a crash course for the opening round. Awards. Jacobi Cleaves, he gets a NBA MVP, his first. R.J. Wallace, Defensive Player of the Year. Alshon Webb almost sweeps 6th Man and Rookie of the Year. So as a rookie, gets 6th Man of the Year for Seattle on a team that gets in as the 9 seed, 46 wins for the Sonics. Not all, but big part of that due to Alshon Webb. Your All-NBA teams, Amari Swift, this is the league saying, hey, look, we're going to do away with 5 positions. It's a 2-2-1, so 2 front court, 2 back court, and then a flex. Amari Swift, Deonte, Dixon, Jacobi Cleaves. They end the run for Jonathan Kuminga as a first-team All-NBA guy. It's the end of, I think, 6 straight first-team All-NBAs for Kuminga. A really impressive run. And then Darius Dixon makes his first. Actually, Darius and Deonte become the first brothers to be first-team All-NBA together. We'll head to the playoffs. You see the Pelicans in there as the 8th seed. Why? Because Ty Outlaw leads them to upset wins over first the Sonics on the road and then the Kings on the road as well. Gets them all the way to the first round. They do end up losing in 5, but a great season, a great resurrection for Ty Outlaw, former 3rd overall pick. Meanwhile, the Spurs push the Suns to a really dominant and competitive 7 games. Mateo Delgado was incredible in that series. Actually, I think that was 6 games. It was. Mateo Delgado was incredible in that series, really sets the stage for it. And then on the other side, Brooklyn, without Brighton or without Rashawn Matthews, they say, hey, look, we got Brighton Reed, Louis Morgan, maybe they're better. And that's part of the drama right now of Brooklyn as we enter, and we'll talk about it in some future episodes. But the drama with Brooklyn is, do they need this big 3? It's kind of similar to what Orlando dealt with prior to making these now 2 NBA finals is, do we need all 3 of these guys, or could we trade one of them? And now, without Rashawn Matthews, they make it all the way to the conference finals. One season after Rashawn Matthews only got them to the conference semifinals. That has to come with an asterisk, though, because in the second round, Jalen Justice, who probably had a pretty good case for NBA MVP, sprains his ankle. They're up 2-1, but when he goes out, Brooklyn wins 3 in a row on a team that's just completely built around Justice. They fall in the second round. But Orlando gets all the way through to get back to the NBA Finals. The Warriors sweep Phoenix, sets up this really important summer of change that's about to enter our doorstep. And it's Golden State and Jevon Rolle versus Trey Hunter and the Orlando Magic for the 2nd straight year. Though this one, not nearly as competitive. A nice game 1, 105-101. But after that, it is all Golden State. They dominate this one. Jevon Rolle gets another Finals MVP, his 3rd straight, 37 points per game. They trailed at the first half, Golden State, in both games 1 and 2, but were dominant the rest of the way. And Trey Hunter really struggled in this one, was not his elite scoring self as he was the year before. And for the 3rd straight year, and the 2nd time that the Golden State Warriors have three-peated, Golden State is your champions of the 2033 NBA Finals. And now we are on to new content. We'll see you there.